Today we will be making this cute plush little snowman. In the first video we will go over how to make his body, and then in the second video will be his hat, his nose, and his scarf, as well as how to attach them. For this baby snowman we will be using the Sweet Snuggles yarn by Loops and Threads in 3 different colors. We have the white for the body of the snowman, the black for the hat, and then you can choose whatever other color you want for the scarf. I just like this kind of green color because it's sort of Christmassy. So this yarn, Sweet Snuggles, is a jumbo weight 7. So if you use any other weight 7 yarn, it will be about the same size. If you use a different weight, like 6 or 5, it'll come out a little smaller and the proportions might be off a little bit more. You will also need Red Heart Classic yarn in orange for the nose. This is a size 4 yarn, so any other 4 weight will make it the exact same size. For that yarn, we need crochet hook H, which looks about like this. You can also use the sizes up or down from H. And then for the Sweet Snuggles yarn, we'll be using crochet hook P. Then we need scissors, of course. A plastic tapestry needle. This will help when you're weaving in your ends and you're attaching things. And then we need 2 pairs of safety eyes. We have the 10mm for the actual eyes, and then we have the 12mm for the buttons. And this is what the back looks like for them. Once you stick it on, it will not come off. The last material you're going to need is polyfill stuffing. It comes in a bunch of different sizes of bags. You won't need a full bag no matter what you get, but it just looks like this, and that's how we're going to stuff our stuffed animal. So starting with the white yarn and our pea-sized crochet hook, we're first going to make a magic circle. So make sure your end is facing towards you, and then you're going to wrap it around your first 3 fingers into an X and put the working end over there. And with your crochet hook, insert it into one side, wrap around, turn your hand and wrap around, and then pull it out. Okay? And then with your end, you're going to go ahead and move it in, and there's your magic circle. So with your end, you're going to wrap it around your finger as you usually would, and go ahead and put 6 single crochets in the magic loop. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then with your little tail end, go ahead and pull on that pretty hard. And then you can see how it tightened up. And then we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch. So here I like to call this the bumper, and what's right after the bumper is that first stitch right here. So we insert our hook into those 2, and then pull it out and pull it through. So now we can tighten it a little more, and we have our first row. Now for row 2, we're going to chain 1. And then we are going to single crochet 2 into each of these stitches, which will make 12 altogether. So in the first stitch, going to insert our hook, single crochet 1, and then insert our hook again and single crochet 2. And then we're going to do this for each of the stitches until we get to the end. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet. So when you put 2 single crochet into 1 stitch, that's what we call a single crochet increase. When you think you're at the end of the row, go ahead and count your stitches just to make sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now this was our chain, so we're going to skip that and slip stitch into the first single crochet. So there was round 2. For round 3, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. Okay, and then the pattern says single crochet increase into the next stitch after that. So we're going to put 2 into the same stitch. Now repeating that 1 single crochet increase, we're going to finish the round and then slip stitch back into the original one. Okay, so that's the end of row 3. I have 18 stitches along here, and I slip stitched into the first single crochet we made. Now for row 4, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2. Now we're going to single crochet increase. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Now we're going to repeat that pattern until the end of this row. So go ahead and single crochet 1 there, single crochet a second in the next loop, and then single crochet increase. So put 2 in this one. Now repeat that pattern until you get to the end of the row. Now once you've got to the end of the row, you should have 24 stitches, starting with your first one here. And then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that first stitch to end the row. Now on to row 5, we're going to chain 1, and now we're going to single crochet into the first 3 stitches. So there's 1, 2, and then 3, and then we're going to single crochet increase into this 4th one. Let's go ahead and crochet 2 to that 4th stitch. Now repeat this pattern of 3 single crochets and 1 increase until you get to the end and you have 30 stitches. Now this is about the thickness that we want for it, so we are going to go ahead and chain 1 and then single crochet 1 in each stitch around. And we're going to do this for rows 6, 7, and 8. For these 3 rows, I really recommend that you count your stitches because it can be a little harder to see where that chain and that first stitch is. So I like to go as I'm going, counting the stitch that I'm on. I just finished those 3 rounds of single crochet, and you can see it's starting to look more like a bowl. We're getting that shape very nicely. So now we are on to row 9. So we're going to chain 1, and then in the next 3 stitches we're going to single crochet. So go ahead and 1, 2, 3. Now in the next stitches we're going to do a single crochet decrease. So pretty much what that means is that we are going to single crochet 2 stitches into 1. So we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch and pull 1 through. Then we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch and pull another loop through. So we should have 3 loops on our hook. Then we're going to grab our yarn and pull through all 3 of the loops. Now from those 2 stitches we only made 1 stitch. So that's a single crochet decrease. Now we're going to do that one more time. So we're going to single crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then we're going to do a single crochet decrease. So we're going to insert our hook into 1, pull a loop through, insert our hook into the next, pull another loop through, and then pull the yarn through all 3. We're going to go until the end of the row, and then we should have 24 stitches total. Okay, so now that I'm at the end of that row, here's the chain that you can kind of see going up, and then I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet, bringing those 2 together. So now for row 10, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches. So there's 1 and there's 2. We're going to do a single crochet decrease next. So we're going to insert our hook into the next stitch and grab a loop, and then we're going to insert our hook into the stitch after that and grab a loop, and then yarn through all 3 loops. So we just crocheted those 2 into 1. So then we're going to do another 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So get 1 loop, second loop, and pull through. So repeat this pattern of 2 single crochet, 1 decrease until you get to the end of the row, and then slip stitch into that first single crochet. Okay, now that row 10 is done, we should have 18 stitches along the top, and then we should be getting more into a ball shape as it comes more in while we decrease. So for row 11, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet 1 into each of the stitches. So we should be single crocheting 18 and then slip stitching into the first single crochet of the row. Okay, now that we are done with row 11 and we still have 18 stitches across, we're going to go ahead and put our safety eyes on. Now these are the 12mm ones for the buttons. I like to go from where we're starting, about opposite there, and then just make sure that you find a place that's kind of flatter. So then for our first button, it's going to go between rows 7 and 8. So to count rows, we start right here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the first button is going to go right there. Let's go ahead and make sure that looks right, and then you can attach the backs whenever you want. So then our second button is going to go between rows 9 and 10. So this was 7, 8, 9, 10. So then we take our second 12mm safety eye, then you can kind of try and place it directly above wherever it'll go in. So once you have your button placed, this is the back. You're going to make sure the larger side is faced up, and then you're going to go to the back of this, put it on there, and then go ahead and push it until it snaps, just like that. And then it should be snapped in place and it won't go through. You might have to put it in between some of these. So like if you push that over, so then it has a little bit more grip, especially if they're smaller eyes, they can sometimes get through these bigger holes. So now once we have the safety eyes on, we're going to go ahead and stuff this bottom part. So with your polyfill, go ahead and just put in however much you think you need until it's at a nice squishiness that you want. Okay, now that I have it kind of stuffed how I want it, and I have the buttons on, we're going to go into the last round of decreases for this bottom snowball. So for row 12, we're going to grab our yarn, chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and then a single crochet decrease. So just continue this pattern of single crochet, single crochet decrease until you make it to the end of the row and you have 12 stitches along the top. Okay, I finished that row, slip stitch into the first single crochet. So we have 12 stitches around and our first snowball is complete. So now on row 13, we're going to start increasing again. So it's going to be a chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and then single crochet increase. So we're going to single crochet 2 into this stitch. So continue with that pattern, single crochet 1 into the next stitch, and then a single crochet increase, or single crochet 2 into the stitch after that. So repeat this until you get all the way around and you have 18 stitches. Okay, now that we're done with row 13, you can kind of see it start to expand outward. So we're going to keep increasing in row 14. So for row 14, we start with 1 chain. In the next 2 stitches, we are going to single crochet. So there's 1, there's 2, And then we're going to single crochet increase in the third stitch. And then start the pattern over. Single crochet 1, single crochet 2, and then single crochet increase. Now go ahead and repeat this 2 single crochet 1 increase until you get to the end of the row, and then slip stitch into that first single crochet. At the end of this row 14, we should have 24 stitches along here, which is how wide we want that head snowball to be. So now for row 15 and 16, we are going to single crochet 1 in each stitch. So go ahead and work around, single crocheting 1 in each for 2 rows, row 15 and row 16. And then I'll meet you back here. Okay, now I just finished row 16. I slip stitched into the first stitch, and this is what we have so far for Snowman. So now we're going to start the decrease of the head, since this was as thick as we wanted it. So for row 17, we're going to go ahead and chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches. After that, we're going to do a single crochet decrease. So we're going to combine these next 2 stitches together. So get 1 loop from the first stitch, 1 loop from the second stitch, and yarn through all 3 loops. So then repeat the pattern, single crochet 2, and then single crochet decrease. Insert your hook into the first loop, the second loop, and then pull through all 3. Now we're going to repeat this pattern until we get to the end of the row, and then we'll start row 18. Okay, now that I slip stitched into the first one and finished row 17, we are going to chain 1, and then single crochet 1, and single crochet decrease. So combining 2 into 1 stitch. Then single crochet 1, single crochet decrease. So go ahead and repeat that pattern until you get to the end of row 18. Okay, after we have finished row 18, we should have 12 stitches around, and then we are going to go ahead and put on the safety eyes and stuff it the rest of the way full. The safety eyes go between rows 16 and 17. So if you remember, we placed the last button between rows 9 and 10. So we're going to count up 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we're going to go on here. So I'm going to keep my finger there. I'm going to take 1 safety eye, I'm going to put it 1, 2 over, and then the next safety eye 1, 2 over. And I'm going to go ahead and clip those in and get ready to stuff it. Okay, once this little guy is stuffed to your liking and the little plastic eyes are on, we're going to go ahead and start the last row of the body. So in row 19, we're going to chain 1, of course, and then we're going to single crochet decrease until we reach the end. So we're going to get loops from 2 and put them together, get loops from 2 and put them together, and then keep doing this until you reach the end of the row, and then slip stitch into the first stitch. At the end of row 19, we should have 6 stitches, and then go ahead and add any more stuffing if you think you need any through this little hole. And then we're going to go ahead and take our hook out, pull quite a bit through, and then cut off the rest. So then using this end, we're going to pull it through and pull to put a little knot there. Now we're going to take our plastic needle, put it in here, make sure you get a good grip, sometimes little ends can come off, and then we're gonna sew the top shut. So we're gonna go and weave through each of the stitches. So we're gonna go through the first one, and then into the second one, out of the third one, into the fourth one, out of the fifth one, and into the sixth one. Now go ahead and pull this tight. You can kind of see it coming together. And then in the next one, we're gonna go in here, go through, and then insert your hook into that loop. So then we get a knot. So now that knot should seal it off, and we can insert our hook anywhere near, pull the rest of the yarn through, and then using our scissors, we're gonna pull it through a little bit more than we should, cut it off, and then the ends will be hidden inside there. So there we go. This is the body of the snowman. And go ahead and watch the next video to learn how to make the hat, the scarf, and the nose.